Hi, anyone and everyone. This is Kim, the Humble Hermit from Come As You Are Oracle. I'm going to do the collective tarot for today. Today is May 30th, 2026. You may follow me on the Talk the Tube, my blog, or not. Totally up to you. Take what resonates. Take what resonates. Leave what doesn't. If it doesn't fit, don't make it fit. If some of it fits, God's kiss. We love that for you. Whatever doesn't, leave it on the table for someone else. We don't want you taking on energy that wasn't meant for you. We're going to use Deck of the Undead by Hattie Thorne. You can find this at hattiethorne.com. You can also find it in her Etsy shop. Okay. That was hilarious. I was not expecting that. We got one on the table. 4 on the table. Holy crap. There's a story today, apparently. Hold on. I got cards turned over. Can't see everything. All right. We got 7 on the table. We've got 1 major, no reverse. Someone's going to have a tower moment over something from the past. Now, past, I should have said this in the other reading because I just had to read it. I did a Crow Collective. It's uploading right now. And it was about past people. Past could be like 10 years ago. It could be 10 months ago. It could be 10 days ago. Just take how it resonates for you. Two more shuffles. This might be a lot of cards in this reading. Or they all fell out at once. Last shuffle. Maybe this is behind the scenes on the last reading, the Crow Collective. Bottom of the deck, 7 of Wands, 8 of Pentacles. Top of the deck is the Lovers, which I think we had that in the last reading when I used this deck. Knight of Wands, King of Cups. I'm gonna set that on the deck. Let me show you what we got. We've got 6 of Swords, the Tower. We got 8 of Wands, Ace of Swords, 9 of Swords, Page of Pentacles, Ace of Wands, and bottom of the deck, the Queen of Pentacles. Feminine, masculine, take how it resonates. So I'm not gonna lie, like, to me, go back and watch the Crow Collective. if you want to. You don't have to. But I think this is... So the Crow Collective was about somebody from the past coming forward with... My left ear is ringing. Somebody coming back from the past with information about a situation that somebody else didn't know about, except that somebody else probably kind of already knew, like unnecessary information, like thanks, but unnecessary. Or even if they did know, they didn't know, like they're over it, right? Like it's been months, years, whatever the case. This is like the person. This is like the person that is receiving the information, but this is how they were in the past when whatever was going on was going on. Because with the Six of Swords, the Tower, the Eight of Wands, the Ace of Swords, it's like somebody realized something was happening, like they were hit with a tower moment. They realized something was happening. Could have been right in front of their face, could have been behind their back. And they felt like they needed to leave. Like somebody felt like they needed to leave a situation. They felt like they needed to leave a group of people, a collective, and they didn't really have time to think. Like, like it's either now or never, and I'm not sticking around to get hurt even more or to put up with any more bullshit. So I might as well just go with the Eight of Wands. With the Nine of Swords, the Page of Pentacles, like whatever this was, it was hurtful. Okay, it probably caused this person a lot of heartache, a lot of pain, a lot of sleepless nights. But with the Page of Pentacles, it's all worth it in the end because it's a learning lesson, right? It's something to store away for the future when you are ever presented with the same type of circumstances and you get that feeling like, why do I feel like I've experienced this before? Because you have. Hence, learning lesson number 312. You know, like, yeah, it might have been a horrible experience, but you learned something. You took something away from it. And if y'all are like me, okay, when bad things happen to me and I kind of can work through it and get to that point where, like, okay, this was a lesson, this was the lesson, these people were a lesson, you kind of get to the point where you can remember the good, you can wish people well on their journey, you can hope that they heal from the bad parts of themselves, right? The karmic parts of themselves, if you will. It's all takeaway. It's all information. It's all a lesson. And it's all going to help you in the future to better understand similar situations when you see them, when you're in them. It may not feel like that in the moment, right? Like it never does. It never does. With the Ace of Wands, the Queen of Pentacles, like whoever this was, they walked away from this situation. They walked away from this person, these people. Like, like this is my chance. Like this happened. They showed me who they truly are. It's time to go. I may feel like I've lost something or someone, right? I may feel like it's a death, right? But there's always a rebirth. There's always a rebirth with a death. That's why in tarot, when you see the death card, if the death card doesn't say rebirth on there, I always put that in my head, in my mind. I always see death and rebirth. In my head, that's what it always should be. I mean, even if you literally pass, and this is just my opinion, right? Just my opinion. But even if you literally pass, you're coming back. Whether you like it or not, whether you know it or not, you're coming back. Unless you made a deal with God, you're coming back. Just my belief, okay? You don't have to believe in that. But it's like it was their time to leave. They got the hell out of there, and they did their best to transmute that negative energy and turn it into a positive for themselves. Survival is an act of care. It really is. It really is. Walking away is self-care. Always. You should never ever have to put up with anything you don't want to put up with. You should never have to be involved in a situation that makes you uncomfortable, goes against your morals, your values, your ideas. Never. And you should never feel bad about it either. You know? Ever. You know? There are plenty of times when I think about people from my past that, I'm no longer friends with, no longer lovers with. And eventually I get to that point where, okay, that happened with them. I hope they're doing good. I hope they found a new friend group. I hope they have a new lover, but they're not for me. And that's okay. That's okay. That's more than okay. Let them go live their life over there. You can live your life over here, right? Nothing wrong with that at all. I don't know. I'm looking, and it looks like she's in a greenhouse, right? Like you can see leaves and stuff. But I'm seeing green stuff. I'm seeing moss, seaweed, um, maybe something about the ocean, something about a lake. Whatever this situation was, right? In the background on that sign, it says "Wealth Lies." Um, a group of someone's might have thought they were better than someone else. Like it's okay for us to treat people like dirt because we're better. It's never okay. Just so you know. I don't care if you have $10 in your bank account or if you have 30 million in your bank account. It is not okay to treat people like dirt. And granted, we all go through things. We all have bad days. When you wake up in the morning, your objective should be to be a better person than you were the day before. To be a better human than you were the day before. Always. Always. There is no reason to treat people like they are the dirt beneath your shoe. There's no. I'm not going to lie, with this Nine of Swords on the back of the wall behind this zombie figure, it says, "Don't close your eyes." Somebody might have experienced something pretty traumatizing. Like maybe in the Crow Collective, I use the example of like a friend stealing someone's love interest. If that's never happened to you before, that could be pretty freaking traumatizing. It really could. It really could. I was just looking at the phone. I have a delivery sometime between 4 and 6, but sometimes they come early. It's like you never know. I remember one time I got a delivery like an hour early, and I was like, good thing I was home. Yeah, because look at this Ace of Swords. Hattie Thorne wrote at the bottom, the first cut is the deepest. Don't close your eyes. Sleep won't save you now. Like this, whatever this was, could have been really devastating for somebody, you know? And I was talking in the Crow Collective about, walking away from a situation and people in the background really being upset that someone didn't stay and try and chase and call somebody and take me back, be my friend, be my lover. Why don't you like me? Why don't you love me? Like somebody walked away and a group of people or a person could have felt like, oh, you're not going to come back? What, you're too good for us? Like, you're not going to fight for this? And looking at the perspective of the person that walked away in this reading, it kind of gives, that thought of, well, what the fuck would I have fought for? If something happened that was so traumatizing to me that I couldn't sleep at night for days, weeks, months, that I felt like I had to watch my back every second of the day, why the fuck would I want to go back to a situation that made me feel like that? Some people are just sick in the head. Some people just don't fucking get it. And some people, like I said, with the wealth lies, people thinking they're better. Like they just think they're so fucking great. Like you should be on your hands and knees thanking them for being your friend, thanking them for being your lover. And who cares if I treated you like shit? You should be thanking me because you are nowhere near as good as me, right? There are literally some people out there that are sick and think like that. And I'm telling you, again, I don't give a shit. $10, 30 million bucks. You ain't better than me. And you show me who you are, you walk all over me, you try to walk all over me. As soon as I realize what's going on, I'm out that fucking door. I am out that fucking door. Every once in a while, I'll give people a second or third chance. If I see something else, if they, have a little bit of that humanity left in them, like I might give a second or third chance. But at some point, I guarantee you, at some point, I just get sick of giving the chances. I get sick of the bullshit. And I use the same example in the collective, so I'm going to use it now. And that was my situation with the ex best friend. If you follow, if you subscribe, you probably know. I have talked about it in the past many times. In the moment when that happened, after I realized everything that had gone on, after I was able to digest it and dissect it and go through all the little bits and pieces, the minutia of it all, like that was fucking traumatizing. Like what I went through at the hands of someone who I loved and cared for, that was fucking traumatizing. Right? I would never want to do that to another person. Like that's sick. That is so sick. I would never want to revisit that situation. I would never want to have anything to do with the ex best friend again. I would, like I've said a million times, I wish her well on her journey, but there is no way in hell I would ever be able to trust her ever again. Ever. Never. Because again, at the time, that was just so absolutely despicable what she did to me. Another, forget about the friendship, another human being. Like I just couldn't imagine doing that even to a stranger. Like it's horrific. now when I look at it, it's a learning lesson. Now when I look at it, I can see it from different perspectives. Now, I'm at the point where I can wish her well and hope that she's healing and hope she got help. But at the time, my God, like that's really what caused me to go on to start my healing journey. That's what caused me like to go through Black Night of the Soul. Like seriously. Because it's like, what am I doing here? Like, I'm going to keep behaving like this, participating in shit like this. I don't want to do that. It's, like I said, it's horrific. It's despicable. And I say, Ada Wands card, no time to think, just drive, is what Hattie Thorne wrote at the bottom there, the Oracle. When I was in that situation with the ex-best friend, I've told you guys a million times, I literally had God whispering in my ear, get the fuck up off your knees, grab your shit and go. And I told you before, she was there, I was on my knees, the table was there, it had my work cup, my water bottle, my keys. I had a bag by the door. I grabbed my bottle and keys with one hand as I was getting up, ran for the door, grabbed my bag, swung open the door. And when I went to swing the door closed, her dog was coming after me, barking. I made sure I didn't hit the dog. I ran up the hill to my car and got in my car and I left. And I never looked back. I talked to her 3 times after that. Very, very very minimal conversation. She apologized because she said, if you need an apology, that is very narcissistic. Very narcissistic to say that to someone. If you feel you need an apology. No, as a human, you should apologize because what you did to your friend was horrible, was horrific, was absolutely demonic. You don't ever treat another human being like that, ever. And I told you guys before, if you follow, you subscribe, when I got into it with the woman at work 2 years ago at Thanksgiving, I treated her like shit. I obliterated her. And it took me about 2 weeks to realize I was the one that fucked up. I was the one that treated her like shit. And I treated her like she wasn't even human. You guys don't know how bad I felt about that, how I still feel about it. And there are days when I think the ex-best friend could possibly feel bad. And there are days when I feel like the ex-best friend could have never gave a shit, you know? And that's the difference between a human out there humaning and another human out there doesn't even know what it means to live a life with value and morals, doesn't know what it means to heal, doesn't care who they hurt, right? I literally didn't have time to think. God was literally telling me, do this and do it now and get the hell out of there. And that's what I did. And that's why when you look at my YouTube, it says on my channel, God saved me on September 16th, 2022. Because he did. Because he did. It's not the first time either. If you believe. Someone might have a piece of electronics that breaks. This looks like a TV, but oh, that's not even. It's like a mirror or something. I don't know. I got electronics, like a laptop. Can I talk? Maybe a phone, an iPad kind of thing, an e-reader maybe. I think that's a mirror. All right, I'm going to leave it there. As always, I hope it resonates. Not really, because this is, not the best of stuff to go over, to think of. I hope you enjoyed it, though. I hope you were entertained. I hope you all have a fabulous weekend, and I will talk to you later. Bye.